Before we get started honoring these three exceptional officers, I'd like for Tony Harrison to come up for an invocation. Tony.
Join me in prayer. In a world where everything seems chaotic, there's one thing that remains the same, is that we are able to see and measure the nature of a person's heart by the actions in which they display publicly. One of the things that's consistent within your word, Father, is that you do not look solely upon the actions of an individual, but you look upon the quality of a person's heart. With these three individuals, it was the quality, it was the strength, it was the persistence, the perseverance, and the courage that was rooted in the foundation of their heart that we are recognizing today. Pray that as we have over these last 6 months, has been the driving force for each and every one of us to evaluate ourselves as individuals, our department, our community, and every single one that has heard the story, that has been a measuring stick for us as individuals as we have moved forward with our own lives. But I pray in this challenging times that it would be a continual point of reference for each and every one of us. So today, as we do it once again, I pray a blessing upon each one of them, their families, as we do our own department, our city, our community, our state, nation, our world. So I pray that your blessing would be upon today, each individual present, each individual that will witness this, both here today, both virtually. I thank you for the opportunity to witness this, and that it would once again be a place and an earmark in our lives that we could look back upon as so many points in our lives as well, to say that we witnessed it, it bettered us, and it moved us forward in our lives to make a difference, not only holding on to it ourselves, but also in the lives of a person we come in contact with moving forward. We thank you for it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, Tony. Once again, I'd like to welcome everyone. I wish we could have got more people in here, but due to the times, I see that a lot of very important people are here with the officers, so that's what's important. There's really no better time than now to shed light on the selfless actions that these officers showed on December 7, 2019. As the philosopher Tacitus said, "In valor there is hope." These words are just as true now as they were in 56 AD. Valor is defined as great courage in the face of danger, and this horrific incident called for exactly that. And at this time, I'd like Deputy Chief Jamie Reynolds to come to the front to present these officers with the Chief's Award of Valor Medal.
Good morning, Deputy Chief Jamie Fields, representing Chief Mike Reynolds, and every member of the Fayetteville Police Department. We welcome you to this very important ceremony. We'll be making two presentations today. The first will be the Chief's Award of Valor, and after that award is made, then Sergeant Murphy will come back to the podium and he will introduce our very special guest who traveled to Fayetteville today to honor our police officers. I am always proud to represent the men and women of the Fayetteville Police Department who wear this uniform every day. And today we are here to honor three of our own heroes. So thank you for coming. On the night of December 7th, a day that will forever be etched on our hearts and in our memories, Officer Stephen Carr was brutally murdered outside the back door of the Fayetteville Police Department, right outside this wall. And on that night, while he sat in his car outside the police department, Corporal Seay Floyd heard multiple shots ring out. And not being concerned for his own safety, he ran immediately to the gunfire. And he encountered it as soon as he opened the west door to the police department. He engaged a suspect who I will not name, and the suspect ran, jumped over a retaining wall, and ran down the alley, hiding in the dark on the west wall of the police department. But he did not run away. He hid in the darkness and he laid in wait. Officer Natalie Eucce, who is Officer Carr's partner and undoubtedly his dearest friend, was with Sergeant James Jennings, and they also heard the gunfire. And they also ran immediately to the gunfire. The three officers met in the alley, and in accordance with their training, they went in search of the very active and very real threat. And they found that threat in the alleyway, right outside the police department, outside this wall. And again, the suspect did not run away. He hid in the darkness and he laid in wait. And when he emerged from the shadows with a weapon, the officers stopped the threat. And I thank God for those officers every day, because they undoubtedly saved countless lives that day. What we know is that suspect parked his car 2 blocks from this department. He walked straight to the police department, and he shot the first officer that he encountered, Officer Stephen Carr. Shot him 10 times, and then he laid in wait. And although Fayetteville police officers, Washington County deputies, Fayetteville firefighters, Central EMS medics all made valiant attempts to save 2 lives that night, it was not to be. And what we know now is that suspect, as he laid in wait, had reloaded his weapon, and he had almost 100 rounds of ammunition. And 1 short block away on the Fayetteville Square, there were hundreds of people celebrating Christmas festivities on the square and in the town center. And so it's my honor to award these brave men and women with the Chief's Medal of Valor. This award is for an act of extraordinary bravery and heroism by an officer having demonstrated in great degree the characteristics of selflessness, personal courage, and devotion to duty. Sergeant James Jennings. Corporal Seay, Floyd. Officer Natalie Eucce. And we can get a quick group photo, please. To this community who has shown an outpouring of love and support for the men and women of this department for the last 6 months, I express a sincere thank you. And for our community members who have stood up in the last 30 days to show their support for the men and women of this department, I especially want to say thank you. Your support, your vocal support, means more than you will ever know to the men and women of this department. And it is a particularly difficult time to be a police officer in the United States today. And the risk is always present. Thank you for your service.
All right, congratulations. We'll move on to a video address from the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund and Museum.
Hello, and greetings from Washington, D.C. My name is Marcia Ferranto, and I am the CEO of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial and Museum. Although virtual, I am honored to be with you today to recognize three incredible law enforcement heroes: Sergeant Jennings, Officer Eucce, and Corporal Floyd, whose bravery, instinct, and training earned them the distinction of Officer of the Month, March 2020. I also want to extend to the Fayetteville, Arkansas Police Department my deepest condolences on the loss of police officer Stephen Carr. Going back to that Saturday in December 2019, there is not a doubt in my mind that had it not been for your swift action and relentless bravery, the results of that day would have been significantly different. I think I can speak for all of us here at the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Museum to say that we are honored to know you and to celebrate with you today. Lastly, I would like to thank Maglite for making today possible. Maglite's commitment to law enforcement is unwavering, and their corporate sponsorship of this program aligns perfectly with the values of their company. So again, congratulations. I look forward to hosting each of you at the memorial and the museum in Washington, D.C. Enjoy your celebration.
Next up, I'd like Lou to come up from Maglite. Thank you, Lou.
If I speak into the microphone, I'll blow everybody's ears out. My wife always says I have the loudest voice in the world. The philosopher was Tacitus, 58 AD. Well, I can't compete with Tacitus and the eloquent words of the chief, but I do have some comments from Maglite that I will deliver. It's my great honor to travel around this beautiful country of ours, and I get to administer this hero program for the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund and Museum in Maglite. And it's a cooperative program between the two, and I periodically get to go around the country and honor single officers, groups, or whole departments for extraordinary efforts in law enforcement and upholding the commitments they have to excellence in law enforcement activities. And although we are here to honor the actions of these three great officers of Fayetteville, Arkansas Police Department, it's of course impossible to do so without remembering the tragic loss of their friend and colleague, Officer Stephen Carr. An evil person took Officer Carr from us and these officers, and that we honor here today, and they faced him down at great risk to themselves and personal peril, and made sure through their swift actions that this person would never harm anyone again. In addition to presenting these certificates of merit from the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund and Museum and the Maglite Hero Awards, Law Enforcement Hero Awards that you see here, Maglite will be making a donation in the name of this department and these officers to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund. Now, if I could have Sergeant James Jennings, Corporal Seay Floyd, and Officer Natalie Eucce please come forward and be recognized. Yes. So this would be Sergeant first. Thank you very much for your service. Corporal Floyd. Thank you. Thank you, sir. You betcha. And Officer Eucce. Group photo? Yes, please. I'll stand over here. Thank you, sir.
I pretty much think everything's been said about these officers that needs to be said. Let's just give them one more round of applause. Good job. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Give an elbow bump to these officers as they leave, and be safe out there. Thank you.